You can't take him out. He is different. You are you, but he is him. And Jon Jones tonight proved exactly why he is him. Now, I know a lot of people who witnessed this fight. I know a lot of people's thoughts and feedback of this performance is, and their cope is, it was a washed up Stipe Miocic who hadn't fought like in 3 years. But it's funny because I know there were some people saying, well, Stipe actually has a chance because of his boxing and his wrestling, and he's tall. I mean, no, a lot of people actually picked Jon Jones. No one expected Stipe to win other than a few like delusional people who were like wishful thinking and, Jon Jones haters and stuff like that. But this fight literally went exactly how I predicted it. I literally said Jon Jones was going to break Miocic down to the legs, to the body, and was eventually going to find a finish by round 3. I called the round and the method. Now, I thought that the finish would be a takedown and ground and pound, which we witnessed that in round 1. Like, we saw vintage Jon Bones Jones. He got that takedown, that sweep, that Zabit sweep within the clinch. I'm not sure what that's called. But he swept Miocic down, destroyed him on the mat. I'm surprised Stipe's face was not bleeding as much as it. I'm surprised his face wasn't that bloody. I mean, it was a little bit bloody, but I thought he'd be covered in blood because usually if Jon Jones is laying those elbows on you, your face is mashed up. Stipe must have really tough skin. I mean, he was cut, but not to the extent that I would have expected. But I did say Jon Jones could get a finish standing. I did say it's very possible that Jon Jones could get a finish on the feet. But again, I said exactly what would happen. Jon would chop down the legs, he'd hurt him to the body, and he hurt Stipe to the body in round 2. And Stipe tried to say it was a low shot. He thought he was slick, but that shot was clearly to the midsection. But, Stipe wasn't hurt enough to go out. But by the 3rd round, once Jon Jones spun and landed the heel right to the liver, that's all she wrote. Stipe went down, and Jon Jones pounced on him for the finish. And yet again, we witnessed another flawless finish of Jon Jones in the heavyweight division. And I know, again, people are coping and saying it was an old Stipe who hadn't fought in 3 years, so that's the only reason why Jon Jones won or looked that good. But then, again, people are forgetting Jon Jones literally fought Ciryl Gane, who is young, in his prime. And a lot of people picked Gane to win that fight. And Jon Jones went out there, walked through him in the first round. Jon Jones beat young, prime Gane faster and quicker than he beat Stipe Miocic. So not bad for an old man, huh? Not bad for an old man who hadn't fought in 3 years to survive on the ground against Jon and take him to round 3 before inevitably getting finished. And the fight was about to reach round 4 until Jon Jones landed that spinning back kick. So yeah, I know he beat an old and active Stipe, but are we forgetting that he literally finished an active, young, dangerous Ciryl Gane? But I get it. I know the cope is, well, Ciryl Gane sold in that fight. That fight was fixed. Okay. Sure. Yeah, that fight was a fixed fight. Yeah, totally. I'm being sarcastic. But, yeah, what a performance by Jon. He looked amazing on the feet. I said that his more versatile striking would be problematic for Stipe. I said that he has an advantage with versatility, and that was going to lead to him out striking Miocic. And I said Miocic was not going to be able to get his offense going. I said he wasn't going to be able to get going with his boxing because Jon Jones will hand trap him. And we saw what DC was doing in the first 2 fights until, Stipe landed the body shot, which led to the finish, which then forced, DC to abandon that in the trilogy. Every time Daniel Cormier was hand-trapping Stipe, Stipe's boxing wasn't able to properly shine. And Cormier was able to outbox him. And then we saw in this fight, Jon Jones kept fighting that lead hand. and Stipe couldn't get his boxing going. He couldn't close the distance, and every time he tried to get close, Jon Jones would duck, he'd turn, he'd jog out of range, and would force Stipe Miocic to reset. That is exactly what I said would happen. But enough gloating on, how I called this fight to go, because again, a lot of people thought that Jon Jones would win. I'm just proud that the fight went the way I said it would go. But now what's next? I mean, Tom Aspinall being next is an absolute no freaking brainer. I mean, Jon Jones ducked the Tom Aspinall question by saying, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and blah, 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 blah. But he did kind of hint at Tom when he said, you know what? Maybe I will give the people what they want. But he confirms he's not retiring. He is coming back. And he says it's up to what the boss man Dana wants. And he's going to have a talk with Hunter Campbell and Dana White. And we know what that means. It's going to be Aspinall versus Jones in the first or second quarter of 2025. And honestly, as far as that matchup is concerned, I know there's a lot of people saying Tom wins because he's younger and faster than Stipe Miocic. And Stipe was landing a few shots on Jon Jones. But look, honestly, I think Jon Jones might beat Tom Aspinall. I was never too quick to say Tom beats Jon. I said he had a great chance of beating him. I said he was a threat, but Jon Jones is such a hard guy to count out. Jon Jones has plot armor, and he's literally an all-time great. And he always finds a way to get it done, no matter the style, no matter the opponent. When in doubt, Jon Jones is always going to get the W. It's just destiny, man. I think Jon Jones is going out on top. I mean, Tom maybe could knock out Jon Jones. He could exploit the boxing weakness. He does have the power, but Jon has too much experience against powerful strikers. I think Jon Jones honestly could outstrike Tom Aspinall. Call me crazy. I think he could outstrike him. And I definitely do see Jon Jones out-wrestling Tom Aspinall. I do think that he might make Tom Aspinall look bad, similar to what he did to Ciryl Gane, okay? It would be stupid to count out Jon Jones. Like I said, I'm not picking against Jon Jones until the day he loses. Until we see him lose, I'm not taking that chance. But I cannot wait for the Aspinall fight. Whenever it happens. Amazing clinic by Jon Jones, systematically breaking down Stipe Miocic until it was time to kill, like I thought would happen. But let's pay some respects to Stipe. He retired. I'm surprised he didn't lay down the gloves, but he did say he's done, and he's not fighting anymore, which honestly, sad moment, but this was warranted. Stipe shouldn't fight again. But I'm happy that Stipe at least got the fight he wanted. He got the fight with Jon Jones. So I'm glad, even though he lost, he went out on a loss against the guy he always wanted to fight, in Jon Jones. Better to go out on a loss to Jon than a loss to an up-and-comer. You know what I mean? Korean Zombie Max Holloway vibes type beat. And Stipe had a great career. Nothing left to prove. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time, without a doubt. 2-time heavyweight champion with 4 defenses. Stipe has had an amazing career. But unfortunately, it's just the end of an era, and that's just the way she goes. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe, and peace out.